Right. Yeah, absolutely.
They called me today.
Let's plug in and we'll see how far.
Did you get what you needed, James?
Yeah, you're all set.
You can plug them both into this.
I know.
Oh, this should be a
Trust me, it doesn't.
And that way, you can get even closer to the table. Plug them both into this one. Yeah, this is the big board, so. Good, are you on?
Yep. Here's a question. Is your wife happy? No?
That's what it was, no.
I
It
know.
goes further than that. I told Danny.
Okay, it's hot here.
Oh, how are you? Here you are.
I ain't got enough guts.
That's happening.
I told her, if you go home and tell her that you feel like you say, okay.
You're going up there.
Trust me, I'm old enough to know who I need to make sure they're
I'm
happy.
good at planning ahead, like I said, this first month.
Exactly.
I'm good, how are you?
All right, have a good
All
one.
right, thanks, Doug. We'll see ya. I'll talk to you after.
Got weather out west, so It depends on every place is different. Sometimes it's us, sometimes it's.
What are you, crazy?
See, my blood pressure is way down. So I'd let you know, Don.
Two minutes. This is the last one. I don't know.
I need to unplug it.
I did.
We need a, what are you doing, man? What are you doing without this weapon?
Oh.
You want just a power strip?
That's gonna be a big part. Gotcha. Okay. And I know I should have, I had to go to Traverse City tonight.
You went to Traverse today and back?
Oh, I took my granddaughter this morning at 7 o'clock for counseling, and then I had to take her mom to the neurologist in Traverse City that she has to go to every 3 months. Yes. Because of her throat, yes. 4 times for her migraine. Hoping to She did have her hearing for the lawyer,
Oh.
May 20 or the judge, May 22nd now, but her lawyer said it's her case. But the lawyer seemed, you know, she thought it was out, so. She can't hardly talk, it's very hard to understand her. And migraines have increased some of her stuff. She's always had migraines. But they were really 25 more. Like we're just about her today. So all attacks and injections bring it down to about 15 almost. That's it.
Where's those extra copies of
Percussion. You know, it's just,
Yeah.
it's really hard. She's had seriously, to her face, when she talks at us. And she gets upset.
That's part of it.
It's terrible. Because even.
That's your budget?
And I know what I would say too, but she's just, sure, worries about what it is, so.
Okay.
So it has his name on it.
I know. It's company. Yeah, I prayed for her and I was very
Okay.
close with the whole.
Speak
family.
of that.
Growing up, they were my second family here, who's always been there. So, Kevin's always been the younger brother, I've never known.
But that's not good.
That's what they were. Well, him and my brother had the same birthday, the birthday's on the same day. And he would come home with someone 9 years or younger.
Here's Gordon's.
They had a belly crawl.
Is that
on my
Gordon?
bedroom floor. I'm sleeping
Oh,
like
okay.
9, 10. And they stick my hand in warm water to see if it was. Yeah, it's very true, so what?
I know this is
I walked the corner of the box.
No, she was
Kind of
probably-
kitty corner.
Just send me.
Okay, I do have some stuff that's next week.
Yeah, just send it to me, I'll send it to you to.
Okay.
That way I got it all in my file.
Coming because we want to know what's expected of us. Or of them, of the entire outcome.
Yeah.
All the whole. They want to get that relationship.
So you send me your, what needs to be on it, and I'll type it up and get it to you, and we'll.
Awesome. Thanks.
No, but they would, when they just walk online.
They'll be keyboard warriors, you know that.
And so you know what?
I started to answer the phone,
No, it's not worth it. I just have to do that.
Tuscarora Township Hall. Please come and vote your concerns and suggestions. So again, keyboard warrior.
All right, it is 6:33. We'll call the June 19th, 2025 special meeting to order.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And roll call, please.
Okay, we have John.
Here.
Lori.
Here.
Rudy here. Sue here.
Any board member conflict of interest statement? No conflict of interest statement.
Well,
Oh, pardon me.
I'm gonna have to pay him that.
cards this month, just make sure I.
Let's start. That's the difference. Okay. Public comment on agenda items. No public comment 2065. Approval of meeting agenda. Oh, those are, there's a,
For the minutes,
yeah,
okay.
for the minutes. Sorry.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Your support? All in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Approval of previous minutes. It wasn't a motion, it was further discussion on the, whether or not we add an emergency expenses policy, which we do. And I had a typo in the minutes in the agenda, and I took an excerpt from our policy, and I had a typo there too, so I apologize for that. So, there's two corrections that need to be made. Inside the parentheses, where it says except, it should be excerpt, EXCERP. And there's a dash in quotations, not to excerpt, not to exceed, EXCEED, 20,000. When deemed essential due to the imminent threat to the health, safety, and welfare of the township, close quotations, close parentheses.
Make a motion to approve the minutes with the change.
I'll second it.
All in favor? Aye. Motion passes. Oh, excuse me, pardon me, we have a second meeting in June. The budget workshop is June 12th, those are in, sorry.
I just thought I was.
Any changes to the budget workshop minutes on June 12th? So,
Susan, you want to make another motion? I'll make the motion to approve the special meeting.
I'll second it.
yes, we have support by Jonathan, and all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, now. First report is the invoice registered to the bill. We have a total of 30 invoices, the amount of $41,083.46. I see the biotech is, because we've gotten our sludge removed with the treatment plant, so that's good. $5,608.48 to GFL Environmental. That was the cleaning up, trying to clean out that lift station where they did all sorts of. They reversed it, they tried backing it out, and then they had to, if it doesn't back in, they have to load a rooter or something and try to have it. So that's good. And it was a 2-inch pipe that was plugged with rags.
So, can they not, put that crack to who they think is doing it?
Yes.
And have we sent them a letter?
I don't know the answer to that, but we can certainly, I know from Tammy, she can trace it back to the household where it emanated.
So, I mean, in the past, we had sent letters and saying, you did this under control, the next time
Right.
you didn't have to pay for it.
Now, she did say that it was a section of a length of pipe, I don't know what the length was. She did say it had never been picked out, which is again something that we'll put on a regular maintenance.
Okay, so maybe,
So, but again, it's good to bring it to people's attention that don't flush everything, even if it says flushable, don't flush it. Well, you know, they have those personal, they say exposed.
I think that's right. Yeah.
No, I didn't go look. Okay, so we have the invoice and the expense run, with you. The other invoice that is in here is a 2-pager. It's for Tanner Electric. Now, this is for the lift station across, it's the permanent generator across the street from Burger King, the big box there. That is one of our main lift stations. And, back in, this invoice is dated January 31st, we had to have some upgrades, is that what this is? I'm trying to remember. Additional alarming, emergency stop, remote monitoring, that was not part of the original estimate. We have been working diligently, Chris and I have been digging through the archives, both electronically and paper, we've been working with Tanner. Eagle was willing to hold out hope that this would be covered under the Eagle grant, if we could find the original contract. We found minutes, we never did find where it was approved, we found minutes talking about this, we never found the original contract. At this point in time, Tanner has been more than patient with us, we'd like to get him paid. We'll still keep looking to see if after the fact we can resubmit it, but we feel strongly that at this point in time, after 5 months, we need to pay this. And that total bill, that was $3,809.
Okay, I motion to approve the, bills as presented and the Tanner Electric bill.
And support for that? And all in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Old business, sewer owner rates.
I put together a spreadsheet here. And actually not included with this is the R&I, which is, 9,000, 10,000. So that would make this even more important, because the O&M is supposed to be able to cover the R&I as well. We've got 1 year in here, 2021, 2022, it's an outlier. Should not even be considered. But you can see that it started at $144.10 per RU that we were short annually. And then the same thing with, down to 113. This last year, 24, 25, it's at $124.69. However, we do not have the last 3 months billing. So that will change that. And so with that, we're currently charging $36.64 monthly. Comes to $239.60 annually. We have been using a 6% increase since 2018. No, 2021. And it's still not breaking even. We still have money from the state park that can be used, and that's what has been fulfilling the R&I. We've been taking it out of there. But, so I've given 3 different scenarios, a 6% increase, an 8% increase, and a 10% increase. The 8% increase annually is an additional $35.16 for 1 hour a year. 6%, $26.40, and then the 10% is $43.92 annually additional.
Can I, ready to talk? Please. Okay, so I looked at this when you gave it to me, and I guess originally, I am in sewer district 2, just so you know, so I'm gonna have to pay this. I would love to say, let's just do the 6%, but from what I would pay when I finally get hooked up, I'm only gonna pay an extra $3.66 a month if we go to 10%. And I would like to not every year do it at 10%, but if we could get caught up a little bit, and we're spending a lot of money and no money is coming from anybody, you know, I think the big plan. So I don't think $3.66 a month is an unreasonable amount, in my opinion. I mean, that means I just get 2 less fountain pops. At yours too. I thought it was gonna be a lot more. Like when I first thought 10%, I was like, no way, that's way too much money. But anyway, since I'm in the district, it doesn't mean that everyone's gonna agree, but I just want you to know that I'm okay with $3.66.
And there is still the money sitting in it from the state. It's not gonna last forever. But we're also getting, when new businesses come in and they're larger, they're getting additional RUs, and those are paid upfront. So that is also additional monies. It doesn't have, it won't go against the debt, but it'll give us some working room.
And this is only for 1 year.
Correct.
You have to renew this every year. So 10% this year compared to, you know, it's not gonna affect you, you're not hooked up either month.
Eventually, they'll put it though, right?
Eventually.
Yeah, I just turn it on there.
Well, I have talked to other people, Cadillac, Petoskey, and this is low compared to what everybody else has to pay.
But they're paying for water as well.
Well, Petoskey, yeah, but I'm saying if you break out the 3 things they pay for, I mean, I know, I agree with you, but it's gonna be expensive, and I don't know how I'm gonna pay for it. Member of Sewer District 2 with me, I know, I'm worried about it too. I don't know how, but you know what, we'll figure it out. Because we have to protect the water. And it's already started, so you can't, the ball's on the roll, so there's no way to back it back out again.
Is there a chance that as more REUs come on, I don't wanna say hookups, but more REUs, trying to change my mindset. As greater numbers of REUs come on and the 2 phases are finished, that and we make up the difference, is there a chance that in the future, if an increase needs to happen, it could be less? Well, that's a pure
I think-
speculation.
I don't know, it depends on, one of our, besides the contract, we do have the electric bills for that families, unbelievable.
True, yes.
I don't know how much the other, I mean, we have our static costs, but is it gonna cost more to do that, thing that they did this month?
Oh, the clean out.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good point, because according to Tammy, what the original district, which is from river to river, correct? In the business district here, 27, that is 13 years-ish old.
Under 14,
Right, and from talking to performance engineering, they're saying what we can anticipate is like anything else that has mechanics involved, mechanical equipment, it breaks down. There is a replacement. Some things are going to last longer, some are going to last on average. And an average is only as good as the data collected. You can expect to replace a pump, clean out a stretch of pipe every 10, 15 years. Maintenance has not been done on that stretch with any regularity, is my understanding. Is that your understanding that it's
From Tammy, what we're.
the stretch of pipe that was plugged? She said to her, her knowledge, she's been here, I think, since.
She's been here since day one.
That, and if we have a 2-inch pipe going into, I don't know what size pipe. We have a lot more usage coming in. We have these objects. She said if we get into a routine where we're doing a stretch of pipe, cleaning it out, jetting it, that's the word I wanted, jetting it, and we stay on top of it, we should help prevent some. And she said it was just kind of like sludge in these rags and.
So it should have been recommend, I mean, because
Yes,
that's,
regular routine maintenance.
we rely on Tammy
Yes,
to tell us what.
yes, yes.
She wants us to get it in the asset management program and get it scheduled, I don't want to see what it's all.
And I don't know the length of the pipe either, but she said we can do, she didn't recommend more than one a year because it is pricey. So,
I mean, that's the goal.
yeah,
The goal is, I don't really ever see it go down. I mean, have you seen electric bills go down? All of our,
Maybe flagging.
well, that's true.
possibly. I'm not gonna,
Right, because we don't know what's
I'm
going on.
not gonna put rose glasses
No,
on.
And that's right. So, the RR&I is for repair, replace, and improving the system. To keep it going in perpetuity. And the Burt Lake State Park monies, were they earmarked for this initially? This is what they were, okay.
To attempt to keep the O&M costs down and to cover the RR&I. But, like I said, I really recommend somebody going for that class. And learning, how to do it.
Yeah.
I-
We have to get on top of this. It's a huge spreadsheet with costs and analysis. It's quite powerful.
Quite intensive. Bobby had it down.
Any idea the length of time it will take us to recoup the shortage?
Well, right now, we have the money in the, I don't know why it's called additional RE, that's what it's called. We have the money in it right now to bring that account to black. And I would love to see that.
Good.
And put the, money into the RRI. I mean, that's the only place it's gonna come from. I don't know how long it'll last.
And if we go to, say we do that, we get that account to black, and we increase at this 10% level, do we anticipate that that will cover the O&M? I mean, if we're at black now, then the goal is not to make money, but to break even, right? Do we anticipate that the increase is enough to break even over the next year, or is that again just a? You're okay.
I don't know that.
And that may be dependent on the number of REs that come on. I mean, I anticipate with the way that it's set up, because we have a 12-month period to hook up, we may end up running into that. until such time as the plant is completely ready to accept from both phases and everyone is hooked up in both phases. And that could be, well, a year from, say, next spring, June. 27, could be 2 years.
It's very business. You run those first few years.
And we, I'll admit, as local, we make a mistake in not raising the rates.
You say the word 10%, does seem like it's something like
But as you pointed out, 32 fountain sodas.
So annually, $44.
It's probably this one already.
That's the one already.
that's what.
Yeah.
And- And there is still quite a few. in this district.
It would be nice at some point in time if we have a handout that breaks it all down, so people are anxious about sewer and all that can see, you know, communities interested. Because I'd like to see more detail, you know, what, like you know, what we have to pay for the sewer plant and all that. I mean, that's the-
I had all that data, I mean, it's there, on the rest of the spreadsheet.
Just find it's easier to
I do.
present.
Well, I suppose we could, if you wanted, you know, Sue can get it to you, and I suppose anyone else who might be interested in it, if we just give a shout.
Citizens,
Sure.
just so it's there.
Yeah.
I wanna-
It's easier to
I-
understand if you're looking at it
And
and process it.
Yep, I agree.
I'm kind of disappointed that 182,610. I just want to make sure that, I don't know, I think it was, yeah, it falls definitely within our fiscal year, the way we have it right now. The billing. So that when we do the next billing,
It's July, it's the new fiscal year, July 1.
no, no.
Oh, it's June.
Because this is in arrears.
That's right.
So, and, I mean, the good thing was the delinquents got put onto the tax bills this year. That's considerable.
What are the fines?
What are they? Delinquent.
Yeah, so if they're behind, when tax bills go out, we move them over to their tax bill.
And there's some that, because they're escrow, they just don't pay. And it's not a small harm.
Okay, so the motion, you wanna make a motion, Sue? Yeah. Kind of, you're in reverse order, but that's okay.
As much as this pays, I would make a motion for the 10% increase this year.
And that will be for the next 4 quarters beginning July 1st of 2025, ending June 30th of 2026.
No, it'll be for this billing right now.
Okay. Oh, right, sorry, you're right. Okay.
So
And
people are gonna know.
Typically, this is done in January.
Okay.
This is, not, typically, we put it off to do a little bit more work and everything really crazy. But typically, this is done in January.
So, how many sewer do you bill right now? I don't I don't know the number.
1,256 REUs.
So, and that's 366 a month times 3 months. So it's 1099 for 98. Minus. How much is this? So we're gonna, I just worry about nobody having forewarning. You know what I mean? If we could have given them forewarning that their bill was gonna go up. But I guess utility bills don't let people know.
Well, we did mention it though. We didn't mention exact amounts. We did mention that we were looking at the only one that was postponed for more data. Sadly, we weren't able to get people to figure it out.
On most households on that, the REUs in that district, are most businesses 1 or 2 REUs? It's all business right now in the bill, basically,
No.
some homes.
No, let's put it, well, you've got River Street, you've got all of those, yeah, all the way down.
That's true, that whole back section.
Yeah,
So there are some.
because the sewer line runs behind the building. So River Street, all the way, Lake Street, sort of goes down, all the way to, what's by the hospital on the Lake Street?
First, because they change. So my question, so what, the reason I'm asking is, so a business will be able to, maybe, I know that there's a business district that has 2 RVs. Do most businesses have at least 2 RVs, if not more?
One of them is 14, but I don't know if that's phase 1 or not.
Isn't that the binder?
Well,
That's
but the hometown inn and Kent's Village Market, those have plenty for you.
Okay,
Um,
I'm just trying to think of the people that live there, or just their RVs or one home, they're gonna get this increase and it's gonna be $10.99. I'm just thinking, I mean, I don't think it's businesses, but I'm just thinking about, 2 sisters. This is gonna happen.
Okay, so we have a motion. So to restate the motion is that we increase the O&M to the 10% increase, which is
takes it to $40.30 a month per REU. From the 36.60.
Do we have a second? I'll second that. And any additional discussion, any question? Any other concerns? Do we need to do a roll call on this, or do we just do it? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. New business. We have 2 reappointments to the DDA.
The EDA is recommending that we reappoint Lori Howard and Chris Olson to another 4-year term that will end in 2029.
Is that a calendar year?
No, it's from June.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so motion on the table,
I'll support that.
okay? And all in favor, or any questions? Any discussion? No? Okay, all in favor? Opposed? Motion Motion carries, I will be happy to reappoint Lori Pollard and Chris Olson, each to 4-year terms on the DDA, and thank them for their service. Next item under new business is parks appointment. We have a gentleman here, who is Brian Henry, who has tendered his information applying to the Parks Commission. He's here. You want to stand and introduce yourself, please? You don't have to take the podium.
Okay. I'm Brian Henry. You want me to say more or? Okay, nice to meet you.
He has volunteered with the emergency shelter. He has been a good sounding board for many on the parks, remains a good sounding board for many people in support of parks, has attended some parks meetings and was looking for a good fit. His background, I believe, to be a fine fit for our community and for our Parks Commission. It's all enclosed there for you to look at. His appointment, if so, a motion to approve, would fulfill the term of our recently departed co-chair, Beth Henderson, who accepted with regret. He will fill this position until the next election, which is in November 2026. Does anyone have any questions, I guess, of Arnie?
Why do you want to be involved?
Straight to the point.
Well, I can give you a really long version of that, but I relocated to this area, I think in September, for 4 years, for work. Was traveling quite a bit in my previous role. I now work fully remote, so I have a little more freedom. Even though my days are pretty busy, I can still step away and get involved, however I want. I don't manage my time with work. But I have a love for the outdoors. I grew up. My father was a coach and a teacher. My family, pretty much everyone in my family, but me, are coaches and teachers. But I used to coach. But I grew up playing city leagues and soccer, and t-ball and baseball, and was just always involved in community sports. So I have a love for recreation areas in my younger years. Earlier college years, I worked for a couple different parks and rec departments, Detroit metro area. So it's something I've always loved. I still love the outdoors. It's just my outdoor activities have changed. I like to hike and backpack and camp and fish and Indian rivers. But it's a great fit for me. For the things that I love. I oversee our West Division. I work for Cycle Landscape Supply. We're a national wholesaler, and I can live anywhere in my West Division that I oversee. But I chosen to stay here. I love it here. So during the ice storms, I spent a lot of time up here. I like many folks, I had no power and no internet, and I need both to do my job. So I kind of planted in the library, but wound up hanging out here in this room quite a bit. Just interacting with folks and getting to know some of you and Beth and just have had a lot of conversations about the township. And I'd like to be more plugged in. So I'm invested here, and I want to stay around. So if I can be of service, I'd like to be. I have a strong background in nonprofit, so I've often worked for very little or for free because I believe that volunteering is important. So I don't know if that answers your question or not, but. And I told Trudy it doesn't matter to me like what role or position, even if it's not one, I'm still going to be involved. So.
And you were instrumental in that period of time you did the shelter. Everyone was valuable during that time. Yeah.
It's nice to see the
coming
movement
cold,
coming
so to
back.
speak, and it was kind of a fun time. For me, but it was. Okay, so, motion on the, any other questions? Motion on the table to appoint Brian Henry to fill one of the open terms on the Parks Commission until the next election, which will be in November 2026. That's the motion. And all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. I very happily appoint you, Brian Henry, to the Parks Commission.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Glad it is that.
Thanks, Bruce.
Okay. Budget hearing, the budget hearing. It is 7:10. And the board will present the budget for the 2025-2026 fiscal year for Tuscarora Township. Okay, if you do not have a budget and would like one, we have some here. Oh, where's yours? Oh, okay. The traveling budget. We also have it here on the big screen, which is wonderful. I should go sit there. Okay. I'm sorry. Yeah, we will open a public hearing. Do you want to help me? So we're opening the public hearing at 7:11?
Yeah.
Okay. And we will present the budget. Then afterwards, we will have public comment on the budget. So, if you were here last week at the meeting about the workshop where it was openly discussed, you will have seen some of this. If you weren't here, come next time. That's fine.
No, you want.
Is that what you were talking to me?
No, I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry,
Kelsey.
Kelsey.
You slipped in.
No, that's okay.
No, I don't need a presenter, I was just saying.
Okay,
I thought I talked to Trudy and figured out it's not included anyway, so but if anyone does have any questions about the library's budget, we did finalize that and I am happy to answer any questions.
Okay, do we want to just tackle this section by section or line by line again? What is?
section by section.
Okay. Okay, yeah. I'm sorry. Will someone take the, let's spread the wealth. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I can see. No, that's okay. So we have the, general fund revenues. It's the first item.
Yeah, sure. So right now we have estimated, remember budget's an estimate, it's a working document. We're estimating that our revenues for the 101 general fund will be $830,463. And if you're looking at this budget, there's lots of other columns to look at. I'm looking at the final column with the bold on the top. It says department requested. It is a little bit different than some of the other ones, but again, it's a working document, it's not set in stone. So we use a good gift book.
So if you look at the headings across the top, we have 2022, 23 activity, those are actuals, that's what was spent. The next column is 23, 24 activity. The next column is 24, 25 amended project, that's where we thought we were gonna spend. And then the last column is the 24, 25 activities through June 30th. That's going to fluctuate, but that's where we're at now. We're still paying bills. And then the last one in bold is what you guys have requested. And you can see the totals across the bottom, so you know we're in both.
So 23, 24, when you turn this one to here. So that's true, that is.
Yeah. Now, these are revenues. And this is money that we took in.
Oh.
So that would include, there's some grants involved,
Yeah.
and some land
Yeah.
sales that won't happen then.
Yep. Now we enter into Township Board runs from salaries through general operating expenses. Again, that far right column, total amount requested, $166,735.32. Yeah, it's just lower.
You're recommending a higher, so I don't know down for next one, if you contingency.
At the very bottom of the page, yes.
The top of, oh, yeah, I have a different.
Yeah.
I have the over, I have my notes.
Yeah, I'm with you. Yeah, the contingency is quite a bit higher.
Which is fine, it's.
So that's a decrease of $14,000 from the previous amended budget for 2020, for 25 year. So.
Next section is supervisor, salary, deputy, employer, office supplies.
Well, the deputy supervisor
Yeah.
Yeah, which,
is opposite me.
correct. And then we did put equipment in there. Printers seem to be dying right and left.
Yeah.
So yes, there is an increase there.
But it's not,
No,
it's not an annual, really.
And again, that contingency is at $20,000, up from previous years. Thoughts on that?
that's not.
If you're on the new budget, the next page.
Sorry.
Category 215 clerk.
So the clerk professional fees, that was, unfortunately, was 32,000, we're just asking for 10,500. I think it's less than what we did last year.
What would be in there? What would we charge there?
No, from Nexus.
Oh,
that was
I don't have that.
No,
And that's what I was gonna say, you wanna read it, that's what I think, that's what.
Software support, this year notes for the estimate.
So how did they get away with the local pool? They want to charge me for two real quick. Possibly.
Yep.
Not a lot of changes.
Internal audit.
That one I'm going to definitely recommend reducing. The actual for 24-25 for the general is about $4,700. So. $25,000.
If you have that someplace else, though,
I think the 25,000 is before the spread.
So are you suggesting or saying, suggesting that we distribute this to the various?
It has been,
Oh,
It has been done.
Pardon me.
yeah, so I stopped in today and pulled that up to see what the actual is,
Okay,
and that's about $4,700.
okay.
We will have to pay the 5,000 for the townships single audit, so Sumo will receive money. Just Sumo. For next year? We might have even got it this year. I didn't see it on there. No, I mean, upcoming bill, that we'll get. Oh. For the audit, and will start in 2 weeks. We just have to do probably the extra 5,000 over. Yeah, still. I mean, we think we put it down to 15,000, it would be, okay.
Okay, so your suggestion is for 101-223-801.00 accounting fees, reducing it from 25,000 to 15? Is that what I'm thinking of?
Yeah, that's still gonna be high, but that gives us some wiggle room places too.
Okay, hold on. All right, we should be looking for that $5,000 audit. Okay, so we could just, yeah. What do we need? Board review, wages, the increase goes to what the amended budget was in 24-25. Where FICA is what it is in training. We don't know if we're, everyone's up to date on their training. If we need training, great, we get a new board review number. If not, it won't be necessary. Okay, Doug on that, we thought that was appropriate. Treasurer, yeah?
Didn't make a lot of changes. I did increase the education and training from 250 last year to 500 this year, asking. Treasurer's mail postage, we took that down 2,000. Also took the tax preparation down 400. Left everything else about the same. The FICA went up. I don't know, but that's just, you pay 7.65% on top of my wages or my salary and the deputy salary. So that's what that is. So it's down just a smidge, but
Any the same for the deputy?
I don't know. I just copied what was last year. It's the same numbers as last year because I thought you can't change that stuff.
Right. I don't know why.
Actually, I don't know because I didn't increase it. For everything she's done for us. It is doing, but.
Yeah.
Conversation, is that, are we going to make them the same? Are we leaving change? Discussion. On the deputy.
They've always been the same before.
Okay.
So I don't know when it changed.
Well, I think it changed, last year with the deputy clerk because of, a lot of what. No, what you do is from the clerk's office. And, but you're bringing stuff back. Yes. My mind, but I don't know what is it. Get that name up there, Sue.
So,
The $200 should go
gonna go up to 101,215,704 and modify deputy clerk salary increasing from 5,000 to 5,200.
Supervisor, deputy supervisor.
I know that's not the, I suppose you could put it there, but,
Yeah, that way just does ever get filled,
no, that's.
it would be the same. Not in my budget, it'll be in there. $22,666.85, so I just say make it $22,770. Should I get to the point?
Is that for the clerk's like?
Yep. Or FICA should go to 2266.85.
Two what?
2,270.
Right? Yeah, just a bit.
So that's gonna be the same for the supervisor, 270, and FICA, changing that, deputy salary, 52.
Oh, yeah, they're both the same, you're right.
And then 2270 is 5,200 on the deputy clerk. And then, but why is your FICA,
I don't know. They say that's based on, that is based on taxes. Is what bothers me. What's that? How they get the
Salary
26
is higher than.
everybody else.
so you, so add the wages, and then multiply that 7.5%.
Yes.
You come up to 2,600.
Hello?
Yeah.
When you're done.
Yeah, I actually rounded it up quite a bit. It should be 20. Yeah, let me do it one more time before I say the number out loud. $25.30 and 62 cents.
25, 30.
There we go.
Yeah, 31.
Right, perfect.
So refresh my memory, what is in the professional fees for the treasurer?
That's also new.
Okay.
They just took that on and spread it across everybody better.
Okay.
Neil is the CPA that helped us if we got into office first.
You must have a newer printer.
Yeah. Don't hate. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not been doing good.
Okay, so treasurer looks good, next page. Assessor, I went over the assessor's, section with Doug, he was quite happy with the numbers. His salary does include a 3.5% increase. He thought that was very fair. We did increase the assistant with the assessors, but admin. See the adjustments there. The only thing that we added that I did not run by Doug because it didn't occur to me was under the assessor professional fees. You'll see $10,000 and then the note you'll see legal. It was brought to my attention that in the past, the township did enter into a legal situation with a,
We had that, we had that.
yes. So rather than that be absorbed through the township per se, we let him have his own.
Yeah, that's all, because it's to do with the assessing.
Yeah. So his is up
Sure. 18%.
That 10,000 like that, a legal fees that we may or may not use, it just depends on where anybody thinks.
Right.
I mean, I don't have a problem with the fee, though.
Okay. Elections.
Well, we did wrap down some elections, so we had one election this fiscal year.
Like I sounded like that.
That's in May, right? Yeah. So, and then on the bottom, it says that the printer used for elections is old and they need to be replaced. We have a laptop on the way that the county has right now with the new program and everything. An election source will be here. I got 12 for an appointment yet to go over that. It's gonna, it is.
Okay, thank you. All right. Buildings and grounds. One of the things I see we did not put in here, and I don't think we want to, is moving some salaries and wages into the township building and grounds from parks. What do you want to source?
What we had discussed, waiting and seeing how it goes with smaller.
Okay.
Expecting, we expect to see that
Yeah.
on their time
Definitely.
cards,
Oh,
so.
definitely, yeah. Yeah. So just so that everyone understands, we can talk about that when we get to parks, I don't want to mind it. Operating supplies, contracted services is cleaning. The only question I had for myself was, is that just cleaning or is that also through mowing and snow removal? And we can address that as time moves on and we get a better handle on this job costing of the maintenance department's services.
So we're thinking about running things here, leaving them the salary, where it's at, and we'll wait till we get to parks.
We'll talk about it when we get to parts. We moved 2 items. And there's still some discussion on the best way to record, to track. Because we have to jump off somewhere. We have to figure this out. So we'll go through this. Natural gas, what's that one? Electric, always the electric.
So, and the main one that's increased is because of our reliable water softener.
Yes, we have water softener, so they'll come regularly. They will do a boil filter on the water, bring a water softener salt. Also, water softener salt, also in there. If you recall at the last board meeting, Gordon talked about the building grant.
Mhm.
Again, we have been working with the community grant, with the library, the police, and the township to revamp our HVAC system. So we are in the final phase of that. The grant is going to pay for $12,275. That leaves a remaining, what are the numbers, 10,375 times 3. 375 times 3.
31.
All right, so that's the amount that each of because we elected to share in the cost to bring this HVAC system to complete renewal. That's the amount not covered by the grant.
Okay.
So included in this line item that shows $15,375 is $5,000 for water softener, salt, and service calls, that type of thing. And the final HVAC, 1/3 of that final push, which for the township is $10,375.
This way the library won't freeze.
Yes.
And the township won't sweat.
Right, and what they're gonna do is in July, drain the system, take out, flush it, put in new VAV boxes, new controls that will speak to,
individual offices.
Yep, and then we will have we'll each gain control of our own. Um, the maintenance agreement, that's $982. And then how many meetings to him?
Oh, that'll be divided by,
That was like $982 per, so we could add it in there. Yep, let me look at my notes.
that would be maintenance repairs.
I would think, so if you add, we could just, you could say increase in extra, decrease in, plus
10,000.
so then we take it to 16.
Yep, 16. And that is about that.
Okay. Building land improvements, just don't know what that is for, but it's there. Building additions and improvements, yeah. So the total budget, it does increase 33,875. Should be 34,875. Okay. Attorney counsel, legal counsel, $38,000.
I don't think that's a good time. Especially if we put that out on an association.
Well, that's true.
So make that 28.
I'm hoping we can reduce that, maybe.
Yeah.
So do I look at the 23-24 and base off that, or? Say 20,000.
And come back to the others just to see what we have left today. I saw that we had a check.
Still.
Only $787. I wouldn't say only for $700, we'll just say 77. What's that current activity? Yeah, so it's 26,485.50 unless we get another, we'll have one more check run for the end of the.
Yeah, but it's billing for previous those.
Right, but I'm just saying, it's not, more yet. We got this bill now,
Bill next month.
so 20, I mean, if you took it to 28, we're still gonna be. An extra $1,500 compared to what we might possibly have used this year. And hopefully it'll be a.
Does that concern you, Trudy?
To take it to 28.
Because you've got the 10 up here.
Yeah.
So it really didn't change it. I just put 28 here. And
I'm fine with taking it to 28. What are your thoughts?
Well, I guess I would love to see us, we have to use the attorneys less.
Yeah, I'm with you.
That I think, we got the contingency that if it goes up. Or you just leave it at 38, but then goal is not to spend it.
Exactly.
But in case, I mean, it should most of the time, if we're getting sewers, and that's gonna be covered by insurance.
Right.
So that's not,
So that's not.
It's good thought too. Contract with Rob was up in December for that.
We put it back out for bid.
So
Yeah, you're still gonna have legal fees.
And his,
Right, I'm saying if we decide to go with somebody else, and more expensive, less expensive.
yeah, so they would be more expensive.
And his hourly rate is coming in at what the previous Haas's hourly rate was with the previous, contract, so. What, I mean, what are your thoughts?
I don't know, I just looked at it and I'm like, oh,
Yeah, I know.
but
I'm fine.
you budget for hire and
You're going over it alone. Yeah, okay.
So what's the budget for the remainder?
and we did the same.
Oh, I was gonna put it in 28. I just, the 10 was over in the assessment.
Right, so it really doesn't change, because we put 10 there, we put 28 here, we're still thinking for the legal.
Yeah, but I don't think in the last few years that any of that legal fees have been used was for assessing.
No.
Did they take anything to tax tribunal or anything? Right, so all of those expenses were for the township board.
John, what are your thoughts? Leave it at 38?
I think we do. Because remember, we're best guess estimate.
Right.
And that's, I agree. It would be nice that all of our activity is, we spent less than what we thought we spent.
Okay, roads, streets, and bridges. Street and highway supplies.
We used to put, because when street signs needed to be replaced, that's where I would put that.
Oh, sure.
I mean, but, they may say that that's repairs and maintenance, I don't know. But that's where we used to put in the supplies.
Okay. Okay, makes sense. Highway contracted services. $4,000, 10.
I didn't put it in. I can tell you what used to was.
I'm just saying that's a big drop, but it.
Well, and even if you look back into, we had 40,000, but I think we decided that's where Brian used to go.
It was.
Back in the day. And then we separated it out, and that contracted services dropped to 3,824. Amended budget last year was 12,000, activity last year was 10,500. Would that be gravel?
Gravel's down.
Some work on a bridge, sort of that.
All right, well. I'm looking what that might be used for. And then road running, hot topic. In the past, we've done, in the past year, well, some history, last year I believe we did 2. This year, we just had one done this week in the rain, which I understand is sloppy. And Shakti did it? Yep. See how it goes. So in this budget, it would be, if we were to do a second one later in the summer, it would be here, and then again next June. $50,000. Not an inexpensive venture. Well, yeah.
See?
And it wasn't,
That wasn't slippery, sloppy.
I mean, not any more than what I just.
Right.
It's a dirt road.
Yeah, okay, and then streets, highways, repairs, maintenance, 35,000, gravel road signs. So for a total of 89,000. Seems to be within. rubbish collection. $4,000 for the annual junk getting and vouchers to go to the campus for the recycling center. Cemetery, this is where we moved some of this wages out of parks and into cemetery. They are a high use of our maintenance department.
I'm hoping that by moving that up there, that they will get their grass cut a little bit more often and
Yeah, and they won't feel, yes, they'll feel more free to go out there and do. Contracted services, those are reflected the new increase cost. Some tree removal, I know there's some tree removal that needs to be done out there. So for the total cemetery, 36,900. That cost center is kind of all over the map.
and that might be really high.
But again, to move some of the wages out of parks into these different cost centers where the high usage is, we have to start somewhere. And we're gonna have to track this. Okay, airport.
That negative $233, that's a budget, a auditor's adjustment that we gotta figure out what that's all about.
Okay.
Yeah.
Airport, they do have their own liability insurance. They gave me their invoice for last year, I just increased it, guessing should be coming due. Any questions on anything in there?
And the negative in there is for the insurance money that we got
Yes,
and have not filled out for it yet.
correct.
I never like to see we just see a negative.
Yep.
It's been an expense.
Okay, next page, parks and recreation. So, we did some adjusting on the recreation department salaries. And just so that people know, I'm referring to this department as maintenance and parks and recreation, because that's really their covered involved. So, we distributed 25,000 to the cemetery and 6,700 to the boat launch. Yeah. And we just, which that was 125 after some adjusting here. Factoring in some new employee, more seasonal. We adjusted the vacation, well, we did. We did adjust hospitalization down.
We changed that. If you add the 93,300, the 3,500, all added together with the 7.65%, that needs to be 74.05 So we're
I know it's the sewer O and M is high. That should only be, with the increases. So, well, maybe not, maybe 1,500. Because they have 2 REAs.
Well, we're gonna do
1,200.
483.60 annually. With the new rates,
484, what?
these two.
970. So 1,200.
Hopefully we'll get enough on sewer O and M. And electric is just, we went out and looked, and the energy companies did get, what, a 2.9% increase in April. And after review, now they've come back through with another,
Consumers is asking for what I saw, it was 10%.
yeah, and I know it's Edna.
That would be until 26, 27 fiscal year.
Okay, what, is it, but I understood it was being reviewed by the Attorney General.
Correct.
Okay,
That was what, 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
I believe it's out. Talked to somebody that I know that was for PI&G, he said, we're not really sure, obviously, it's going to go up with, the storm devastations. The cost of that, nothing really online, I saw that for that last month in February, I believe. As far as those expectations go, they asked for 3.5% increase in that time frame. As far as the big jump for custody, it's going to be in.
so, is that another one of those that we
Credit.
need
SEL doesn't affect this one.
No.
It does affect the street light.
Okay.
But not a lot. Very little with Preston.
But John, what you read is if that, any increase that goes into that won't go up to 26, 27,
This is what I saw.
what that could change.
It's $9 that you would ask for one rate increase for the fiscal year. And that would go down in March, 2.4%.
I think we have to leave it and hope for the best. Yeah. And I feel that way about the propane and all the fuels. We, and, yeah, and I know, the Parks Commission is committed to reviewing all their costs, like we all do with our home budget, so. Leave it to them. Liability insurance, based on penalties, can't do much there.
That one just,
Workman's comp, the higher our payroll goes, the more that goes up.
do you know what they were thinking on the land improvement? No, I believe it was just, as they come up. I don't think at this point is anything definite, no plans.
Is it for the beach?
We're not doing anything other than the sand, we're
Yeah.
not doing anything, and I believe the sand is gonna be donated, but that's a,
Well, yeah, I think the plan, right now there's 20 yards at the one end, and the goal is there'll be another 20 dumps. So that's almost halfway, but yeah, there has to be.
I know there was a discussion before, like the sand is free, but paying the company to haul it and spread it.
yes, that is a no, that's off the table
Yeah.
now.
Okay, all right.
Well, from the workshop till now, we went from 49 to 6%. So I think that's pretty good. I'm happy.
We just spread.
That's all right, because that is realistically
They're
where,
gonna come out of where they should, yes.
Exactly, yeah. Yeah. We did
It was
leave,
supposed to be that.
and we did leave on the tractor, we did remove the vehicle, because again, the thought process is that's a 3 to 5 year capital improvement that we have to all try to target mentally, that would come out of the front end. So that's something, a goal, in my mind, a goal that I would work towards as a board to say, okay, let's put stewards, try to, in your mind, say, if 3 to 5 years we have to replace. But I'm gonna ask a question. If with the increase in the number of employees that we are trying to get with 4 parts. And I don't know what the bids have been on the old truck and
I understand about that.
so why don't we put it back in circulation, take it off the bid and use it, drive it till the wheels fall off. We need another one. We have possibly 4 employees. Seems to me we might need it. And I'm just asking a question.
The previous board mentioned that truck was a liability to the township on the road
Was it defined, why?
because of the safety hazards in the electrical wiring, and the steering was not needed major work on the linkage and stuff on the steering. And with younger people, seasonal workers using it, it put the township at risk.
And the electrical that couldn't be fixed, I mean, is it, I don't know how many miles are on it, I know nothing about it.
Doug was at the point to where he tried to find what was called a phantom draw on it, but they would have to disconnect the battery or jump start it each day when they went to use it.
Well, let's be on my pay grade.
I guess I'd love to hear how many miles are on it, like,
Yeah.
what, taking it in and
What's
see
the cost
what,
of it?
yeah.
Yeah.
That's definitely-
Yeah, I think that's probably it.
Put it in, look at it.
And I watched that one young guy drive one day and I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
Come out of Martha Street, I'm like, whoa.
Could have used, at the parks only, or public park only.
Well, that's a good question.
Not on public. roads.
Because you've got the new, well, I don't know what the new truck is for, but you also have, you said that police car?
Yeah, and then the white truck with the toolboxes. Yeah. Yeah, just all this on getting the tractor.
Yeah.
Because that's already. I don't know, I think there's 2, I don't know, I mean, we looked at it. And we did include CPR and first aid because it is part of the job description, and I think as the crew is out on the road, it's very important. We'll be the ones to be thumping on chests and we left in the uniforms, and again, I think I would again encourage parks to look at the ultra mile check. Need for protection, personal protection, equipment, and whatnot. And again, with 4 people, more uniforms. And I think that's been well received from what I hear. So we've got it's kind of a wash, increase on one or decrease on one. Veterans Pier, kind of on hold right now, we're trying to we pursue that.
And at the Crossing the Woods, the last 2 paver projects that we did before they stopped for a while, those were done very well. So if I can find out who the contractor was that engraved those, then we can maybe get some of this fixed. And what we do with a paver that's worn down, like that Veterans Pier, they just pull it out, flip it over, re-engrave deeper and put it back down. You don't have to replace the whole paver, you just have to flip it over. So, and I know they did that with my mom's, and you couldn't tell you could tell the difference if it was flipped over. So, but, yeah, because I know that's from we all got a little note from a member of the community who really is sad to see what has happened to the bricks over there. So
we just need to find a reasonable solution.
So I'll see if I can get a
I got the.
name that you
We're looking at.
My understanding, somebody from the parks talked to,
Well, not who's doing the
Okay,
Crossing
okay.
Woods now.
Oh,
They've got a brand new laser engraver and they changed the kind of bricks. So it's the old stuff that they did a great job on.
Okay, and so I believe somebody had touched on them, they didn't want to
They don't think they're gonna be able to do,
combine it with us, or.
right, the church doesn't think they'll be able to do projects for people that aren't.
Gotcha. Okay. All right, I think the biggest biggest problem down there is the sand.
Yeah.
There's no way to,
No, there's been some ideas thrown out, but I think that warrants further investigation, and it's summer's a promise. We'll get there. Bring ideas. Yeah, we did. I was skipping through. The fire is what it is, that's a contract.
What about cemetery capital improvement? Yes, yeah.
I thought we were gonna, I thought we were doing that.
Go ahead. Well, there's nothing in there. Those are all previous years.
Oh, okay, I see what you're saying, it's the column empty.
Yeah, the column's empty. The concept, as I understand it, please correct me, is that you put on CIP the things that you hope to fund, but you have to fund them in the year that you're going to do that. Is that correct? Am I understanding that correctly?
I don't know, we just kept it on repairs and maintenance and.
Well, that makes sense to me.
I don't know, I did not understand what, oh,
Okay.
I just saw funding precedents earlier today where they funded good year, they funded this not good.
Okay.
It was in the minutes.
But it is something that you fund in the year in which you want it done, correct? Is that
That's
correct?
what I understood.
Okay.
But they never funded them in the budget. At the third budget hearing, they did not fund CIP.
Oh.
And it was a new thing that task force started.
I rather think about a CIP as a wish list. It's nice to have some numbers thrown to it. It's nice to have some idea of what major project needs to be looked at, considered. Right.
but that just always came out of their budget.
Yeah, it's part of this budget, so,
You have your 6 year CIP, it's still out there, and then you have a 5 year first one.
right,
That's CIP,
right.
it's something.
And the
Right.
PDA too.
Oh, that's right, you guys have your
But they-
25 years.
I don't know, I don't understand why it would not come out of those budgets.
Well, I'm with you,
I don't understand that. I don't understand that.
unless they pulled them out for ease of focus, but I'm with you. Why not put it in there? In the budget. And at least as a line item, even if it's. I don't have to do more
That should
digging.
be, the police taxes have those every so often anyway.
Okay,
But do you know how, I mean, do they handle that different at the county, police, do you know? EDA is simple. Oh, it's pretty good.
street lighting.
I skipped that.
It's, no, well, it's just a little, it's pretty straightforward.
It's the two connected. And, you just set the village every year based on, what you project for. That's it. And that one this year has a large fund balance. And so that's the, projected, taxes.
GDA.
Yeah, Chris, you mentioned something about the principal's data center. With the, I believe. We've had, we're returning a bunch, we're gonna, actually, we're gonna return and put it right on the system.
Boat launch. And this is supposed to be the top line versus new wages, that's $6,700 gross. We estimated that the maintenance crew, spend about an hour a week mowing, cleaning the restrooms. That we're jumping off sometimes. And that is itself, of itself, it takes care of itself. The only question I had was that $1,200 boat launch contracted services, was that previously from maintenance and parks or?
We have the vault,
Oh, sorry, yes.
and whatever else maybe, repainting the lines and.
Oh,
Does it, and in the past, there was a boat launch lease of $1,500. That was paid, I think, that was paid to the township, or the parks for using the overflow parking at the Royal Park.
do we need to look that up now to know who that?
I don't know what I'm talking about. And then it's some of my old, calculations.
So Marina Park is, Lower Marina Park, the overflow is a parks.
So it's other than there, I mean, I think that's where it could be working, trying to help cut some of the costs.
So do you want to add that in? Yes. So we take that. So we're fine.
We didn't put in anything for, operating fees, kind of missed that out. You know, that's kind of a, isn't that for any additional, businesses?
Yeah. But I don't know.
Some of them are, right, yeah, we got one for sure. Yeah, I got one. Yep. So two of them are already paid. The, in between,
Yes.
and I think what was that? Okay.
Um,
I thought he hasn't paid his additional revenues yet?
You're gonna look at that, yeah. You paid the water contract. Yeah, he's got definitely.
That'll be easy.
But, you know, we have the new, flower shop, maybe,
Oh, yeah.
that's coming, that's having their grand opening this week.
Yeah.
No, that, it was the other flower shop,
Mm-hmm.
but it's,
These, it looks like, I'm under the impression when I look at their website, that they're hosting, craft things there. Like they were hosting it before out at the winery, Seasons of the North. So she does a lot of that when I was going through her Facebook page. So I don't know if they plan on it being just slowly flower, or if it's gonna be
I don't know,
craft things too.
I would think she's gonna have water, at least one in the bathroom in here, so.
Oh, yeah, she hosting, she's gonna have the bathroom, so that's what I was thinking, it's gonna.
Well, they have at least one out in there, right? That's for business with one toilet.
Right, right.
We'll have to look at the chart.
Yeah, okay, all right, so we don't know what
So we
that,
can put some out.
what do you think?
Starting with budget 50,000.
Okay.
Nope, that's under.
590,000,062. And then, these operating fees, is that,
That's the sewer oil. There's a good chance that the. We're looking at 70. I'm hoping it's gonna be higher.
So this is $5
And we didn't put in the RRI fees,
the fines?
RRI, the 65101. I had that. I had that up in the county clerk's office. What was supposed to be put in. Well, it is. It was supposed to be, you know, this, but you're supposed to be charging for it. I know, but I mean, if you think about it, we're supposed to be charging for it, and so that would be a revenue. It goes right into the bank. It's not like you're. There used to be one in there. You can leave that blank and then.
But you said that you have documentation somewhere on it?
Oh, right there.
Okay. Maybe we can extrapolate. Okay, fines. I'm sorry.
7,000.
Okay. Just put it in here. Just, that's one phase two, and then phase.
Because that's gonna have to be broken out of where we have the special assessments for this year. Um, okay.
So we needed in reimbursements. What do you think?
Like,
6? Reimbursements?
I don't even know what that would be for.
I don't even. Okay, sewer fund, expect the sewer hourly, that's contracted, which we did not, there is some discussion. We're gonna have to work with them over the next year too about, I think we need some contracted labor out there. That we're working with me on. The plant is doubling in size, which is changing dramatically the costs. Obviously, if you look at the totals. And Tammy did say she'd try to work with us, but she was very helpful with giving us an idea of what we would be looking at and increased lab costs of chemicals and supplies. What'd you say, she doubled one?
One chemical doubles, one chemical was up to the back.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just almost each chemical is good.
Yeah, yeah.
400 maybe.
The one with keeps the sun down or something. Okay, so that's all reflected in here, and you can see the operations contract, which is the meeting time, it's doubled because of that. Yeah, I'm hoping that that'll be covered into that grant, still working on that.
Was that 97,000?
Something like that, yeah. Seven ponds will need to be cleaned out, and you'll see that reflected in the repairs maintenance land and building, 930 for $20,000, that was, Tammy's helping us get a bid on that. That's what, this will be a really expensive year on that, and then hopefully we'll be able to be on top of that. But we've got trees burning up there, that's all happening. USDA will not be happy. Come and work. The buildings, we don't have anything yet, but that's hoping to be covered under a grant as well. So you can see that the cost double at least. Okay. Here. Any questions on that section? Page, last page, water fund. Oh, I know, there was a question I had. Should that $4,400 is the, monthly fee paid by MGD, should that be under hookup fees? rather than operating fees. Versus the,
No, I don't think so, because when we paid it, isn't it for all the testing and the maintenance contract for with Newman? Isn't that what it's for?
I think so. Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
And that would be
Okay.
operating, right?
Okay, all right. But that's a multi-year. So they pay 2 years worth. Only 2 months worth. Like that. So there's not really anything that works. Their fees are gonna be based on usage. Until they sell their something. That's good. That's still over here. I think so, yeah. We'll have to-
Did they get one outside? We've gotta get the pump from the outside, the VA's gotta get that on the outside.
Yeah, we're just gonna do it.
Have they been given the outside pump, you know? Okay, no, we're just gonna, we don't know.
Well, but we, yeah, I don't know, but
They've gotta get that.
Okay. Operating supplies. Contract services, legal permits. Equipment, and supplies would be. Get 5 years worth of bottles testing, right? Not much else to go over. Yes, yes.
Is there a water, like, you know, we'll have our well substation, like, we have to buy a few state of you talking about the water testing, no, we should do that. Yeah, there's something have to get a new permit, like we have to for the wells at this building and at Corporation Park. But that well is in a different category over there, so.
I wonder if that's in the sewer plant. It is. Could be, okay, 10,750 legal permits. If there's any equipment she's gonna need out there. We provide for you to read. All right. Special assessment, there's one.
I don't have to say anymore, yay, but we really, it's gonna be support.
We have to get down, getting budget adjustments and things done. What about the well repair? We didn't talk about that.
We didn't talk about that. So we're still looking for, we helped me dig up those 5-inch thick contracts from the Gordon Fraser days.
Did
So,
you find one?
we found several.
On the well?
Well, we haven't read through it, it's only, 5 inches thick, so now we're gonna look through and see, where they are. If we can find a contract where they contracted with the well driller, then we can take that to legal and they can go to Board of Review and say, how do you want to handle this? So that's where we are right now, is looking through these bound contracts, and I think we have 3 versions of it. 2 of them are stamped and certified, so I'm not sure what the changes are. But that's the next order of business on that well. And then to say, send it to legal and have them have the conversation with Cory Frazier about how the well needs to be repaired. The wiring's been done, it's a 3-phase, it needed 3-phase wiring, that's been done, it wasn't done initially. It was an inadequate pump that blew up during the ice storm. We had quick fix for $17.95 with Ramsey, with the rebuilt pump off the shelf, so now we have to come back around and get it put to rights, which is the biggest violation is that they filed the paperwork with the state of Michigan saying they put in a certain type of pump to distribute, to pull a certain number of gallons per minute from that well, and that was not what was there. So we need the pump put to rights, or the well put to rights, and then, and the district health department is waiting on us to find that contract and have that conversation. They're very in. That's where that's. Yeah, so, do we want to have public comments?
Well, this is on the hearing.
On the budget hearing. Do I need to close the hearing first or after?
Well, no.
Okay, any public, it's 8:26, any public comments on the budget hearing? Yeah.
During the budget hearing, my name is Patrick McGinnis, but during the budget hearing on the sewer expenses, you mentioned the expense of cleaning the lines and stuff. I recall when the original sewer system went in, you had a big, beautiful brochure done on what should not be flushed. It might be wise to reprint that brochure and send it out with the tax bills.
I agree.
The second thing, especially with short-term rentals, just as a reminder, and the second thing is, I noticed on social media on the budget issues that this board was hiding the budget. We just spent 2 hours going over the budget, so you guys don't hide things very well. Thank you.
Thank you.
I think the idea.
Okay, any other public comments? No? Okay. The public hearing, or excuse me, we're gonna close the budget hearing. It is 8:28 p.m. Public hearing is closed. Board comments.
I think it's a great idea to include a brochure about what not to flush, but unfortunately, I already have a contract with the company that, does our taxes, and that wasn't included in there. So, and we've already approved that at a previous board meeting.
Well, but maybe we can put a, something on social media, we can put it on the website, we can post it on the door.
We can definitely put them out.
Yeah.
We can put them out in the winter.
Exactly, yeah. And, and months ago, talking with Tammy about, as we get ready to get online, she said, this is an issue in every place that has a sewer system. We have short-term guests, we have long-term guests who aren't used to it. We get excited, we don't think, things happen. She said, always remind, she said, you'll still have some issues, but she said it's always a good idea. So yeah, we would put it on the to-do list for. Okay. Any other? Maybe we have Board comments are closed, it's 8:30, motion to adjourn. Motion to adjourn. All in favor? Aye.
And we had a comedy hour